Welcome to another week of Ether Raids. We are taking on our first match for the week. This is Astra season, and I just finished watching the Oblivion stream. He had really bad luck trying to get some legendary Alm merges, which I kind of figured would happen. Like looking at like the banner itself, it's pretty much just a one-unit banner. And pulling on colorless is never fun. So chances it's pretty rare that you're going to get like fantastic luck pulling on a banner like that for a colorless unit. Well, not necessarily for a colorless unit, but the colorless unit being the only unit really on the banner. Unless you're like going full circles and then maybe you pick up like extra units towards the spark and you get your scam bubbles. There really wasn't a ton of value. So eventually he'll be reran on a legendary mythic mix type banner, but typically I don't get the colorless units on those banners either, so not the greatest for me personally. But he had really bad luck. I won't even say that. He had about the same luck that I had. I kind of ended up pulling colorless mainly, not only, but mainly. I did get a copy of the green guy and the red guy. I got the red guy off free tickets, which was kind of bizarre. I was like, whatever. But I had to go past the first spark just a little bit, and he had to go all the way to the second spark. So, wasn't great. But I got my 2 copies of Alm, the +1, which is pretty much what I wanted. Just looking at some testing that Oblivion did afterwards. Alm was not looking that great, man. He performed about as well as I expected him to perform. And then I recommended Windsweep. And I think Oblivion did that like all the way at the end. And Alm started to put in a lot more work at the end with Windsweep against, the majority of the first saves. But, it's really down to the fact that he's just not getting hit. I was really surprised at how underwhelming his flat damage reduction was. I thought it would have been way more powerful than it actually ended up being, which is a good thing, because what that means is that he is not like a full counter to... I was really worried about what this legendary Alm... What am I saying? Attuned Alm meant for the game. I was worried that he was going to just be the best unit in the game, bar none. Kind of like what legendary Emblem Ike was last year. I was really worried about that, but turns out he is really just like a shield fighter counter, if you want to call him that. He pretty much one-shot KOs every unit with shield... Well, 2 taps every unit with shield fighter in 2 hits. He's usually able to do that unless there's some type of miracle support, or if he's just like not getting his special off. But aside from that, he pretty much takes out any far save that has miracle. Shield fighter, hardy fighter, which is a good thing. We needed a unit that can do that consistently, since Fogado has completely fallen off, which is kind of sad. I really enjoyed using Fogado. I didn't anticipate that he would fall off this hard. Like I wouldn't even recommend merging Fogado at this point, because he just doesn't do enough damage, which is insane. Because he has a ton of true damage and stuff in his weapon. So the fact that he just doesn't do enough damage, Fogado, is insane. And kind of the same can be said for Alm as well. He was missing quite a bit of kills. I don't know if that ideal A skill, the perfect skill, is gonna stay. Probably wants like Verge of Death to cleanse his penalties so that he doesn't have to deal with that. Attack speed debuffs, and then Windsweep. Yeah, it seems like Windsweep, in my opinion, is probably going to be his best. Well, also just from watching the testing, Windsweep is probably going to be his best B skill. Doesn't work against dragons, of course, but it's better than nothing. It's better than what he was doing without it. And also, it's looking like he needs the quad, which is surprising. I thought he would do actually way more damage than he... I thought he would be putting out like Yunaka numbers. Like Yunaka puts out a ton of damage, but wasn't really hitting that hard. It was quite surprising. Even with all the true damage and the speed taker, he still wasn't hitting that hard, man. It was actually really surprising how low his damage output was. Granted, it is against some of the best saves in the game, but I mean, Yunaka, in my opinion, is currently the best nuke. I want to say range nuke in the game. I would also put Bridget in there, but also I'm kind of biased because her hair is fantastic, and she just has some really cool voice lines. So that's probably more of a Bridget bias than anything else. Not that she's bad, but she does have her drawbacks in terms of mobility, which kind of sucks. But she's really, really good. I venture to say that she's better than Alm, but you know, we'll see how that pans out. Let's play one more. Okay, here's our second match for the day against T. And we're going to go with the highest scoring team that I have for this week. Jimbro being bonus was kind of difficult to build around because it means that I actually can't use my Gale Force team this week because I don't know how to fit him in. He doesn't really offer anything to that team. I'm contemplating maybe bringing in Gris for Edelgard, Valentine's Edelgard, who is still on that team, but she's no longer bonus. So looking at the options, it would probably be best to bring in Gris, because I'm not seeing who else I would replace. But then also Gris can't Gale Force, so that's one less action. I don't know, man. I'm kind of struggling with the Gale Force team. Might end up not using it this week, which is not great. I really enjoy using that team. And it means that I can't Gale Force this week either, which I guess is fine. I mean, I am using what's her name? Nell. I'm using Nell, so she should be a pretty decent frontliner. Especially with the bonus stats. I don't think she's gonna die, and then I have some far save support in the form of Neathhogger. I was contemplating whether or not I should give Nell distant counter echo, but then the units that can actually, there aren't that many units that can use distant counter very well against ranged nukes, and I think even if I did give it to her, she'd probably still end up falling off eventually. So I don't know, I'm still contemplating that. I might just give it to Erica, which was my other option, because I did go on the a Hero Rises banner, sparked Hector, got like 2 Iras and Tamara, which was pretty good for the first spark. I think I'll go back in because that wasn't so bad. It was a pretty decent haul for what it's worth. Mainly skipped colorless because I can't really do anything with the Detect Father. I don't know who I would give that to. Aside, it's really more of a Ninja Lucina type of skill. It's really good on her. And also, I don't really need merges on Ninja Lucina. I don't think she performs well enough. So I kind of skipped colorless and really focused on red, blue, green on the AHR banner, and then got Hector, which was to my surprise. I thought I'd mainly get. Well, actually, I sparked Hector. I mainly got Iras, which is, it's so weird how that works. There's 3 units on a color, and you mainly get one of them, which is so weird. Like, consistently, I got her. 2 times I got her, which is fine because I did actually want to merge her up. I think I might make her, like, depending on how my summons go, I'm gonna make her a merge project for water season, so that I can bench Byleth. Byleth is really bad now for Arena. He's not that great, man. Or at least bench Fjorm. But then if I bench Fjorm, a Summer Fjorm, I won't have someone who can tank things for Arena. So I don't know. I'm thinking how that my Arena core needs to be updated. Is essentially what it boils down to. But yeah, I'll probably go back in on that banner for at least one more spark, and then call it there. But that pretty much wraps it up for the summoning of new heroes until we get the Legend Mythic or Emblem, more than likely Emblem, at the end of the month. And so far, I want to say that this month has been pretty underwhelming in terms of the units that have come out. Yunaka was last month, or was she this month? I forget. I think it was last month. Yeah, I think she was last month. And so far the units that have come out this month have been pretty underwhelming. Spring banner, new heroes banner, nothing really. I mean, Alm is okay, I guess, if But, I mean, really, if you compare him to Yunaka, I personally don't think he's better than Yunaka because she can quad and she has pass. Maybe not a fair comparison. Let's leave it at that. It's not a fair comparison to compare Alm to Yunaka. But yeah, he's here. We'll see what the emblem banner has. Again, the matchups were really disappointing with he really needs triangle attack. Like, just looking at him and his performance, there wasn't that much of an upgrade from legendary if I'm being honest. Granted, I haven't gone into testing myself, but just from seeing what Oblivion had, what he matched up against, not that much of a difference from legendary I mean, if you start going down the triangle attack route with a ranged unit these days, that means that he's not much different from any other ranged unit in the game, because they all can do the same thing or similarly well if they're able to quad. So what's the deal? No big difference. Wind Sweep I definitely think is his best B skill, which is insane. And then for his A skill, you probably want to go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Verge of Death, just to neutralize any penalties to his attack and speed at the start of combat. He does not want to be debuffed, at the very least. But yeah, man, nothing else is really coming to mind in terms of good things. Did want to point out that I messed up the rotation, and I realized, looking at the schedule, I realized that we're getting one more light season, which means that it's going to be light season, chaos season, light season. So we're not getting another Astra season for a while. Instead, I thought we would have been Astra, chaos Astra, but I was wrong. I didn't see the dates right, which means I got to build a new defense for dark season. So, there's that, which is fine, I guess. Excited to go ahead and I'll do that this week. GG's.